And this episode of this vlog or podcast, whichever way you're listening to it, is called Because It Will Be Beautiful. It's an interesting thing. I'll explain to you what I mean. And I think this discussion has a profound, I don't know how to say it, insight or effect on the life we are living now in this world. Let me explain. The phrase, because it will be beautiful, comes from a book that I'm currently reading. I'm about halfway through it. It's Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth. And it takes place in the 12th century England, which for me is I'm really fascinated by, I guess you could say the medieval period of Europe, which I think is from 500 to 1500, the late medieval period, particularly fascinating because it led into the Baroque era and the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and it led up to just amazing flourishing of humanity. But let me get back on topic here. Because it will be beautiful. Now I'll tell you first the situation in the book and how it affected me, and then I'll tell you how this relates to us in the modern world now today. The book revolves around, it covers decades, but for the most part revolves around this man called Tom the Builder, and he's a mason, and he's like a master mason, and he has this dream of building a cathedral, designing and building a cathedral, being the master builder. And at one point, three-eighths of the way through the book, he plucks up the courage to draw up some designs, and he goes to the head monk at the place he's working with the designs and tells him he'd like to rebuild the cathedral that's been burned down. And so this is like this beautiful goal that he has. And the head monk is really impressed, looks over the plans, and he's like, they talk about money and how much it's going to cost and various things about it. And then finally, and this is really the profound little part of the book that I really like, just one little short part where the monk asks him, "Why do you want to do this?" And Tom the Builder runs a bunch of quick responses through his head. What would be the best way for me to respond to this, and what would help to convince the monk to come up with the funds to build this cathedral, all of this. And he sloughs all that off, and he simply says, "Because it will be beautiful." And to me, that was just a poetic and just amazing little moment in the book. And the monk is impressed. And it made me think about a lot of things. First off, we seem to have lost that in our modern world. There was a long period of time there, spearheaded mostly by the Catholic Church, to strive to make beautiful things in honor of God, right? And we can't, know what was in each man's heart, or each person's heart, or the bishops, or the popes, and the cardinals, and the priests, and the artists, and Michelangelo, or Da Vinci, all of these, we can't know what's in their heart, but that's what it said. The striving for this beauty was all in reverence to God. And we've lost that in today's world. I really think so. Let me explain to you, let me see if I can give you... We don't build that way anymore. We're too practical. Now we build all these structures that are functional. How do I design this building so it's functional? How do I make the doorways and the corridors and run the electrical circuits and get maximum efficiency and get the costs down to achieve the goal of the purpose it was made to serve, whatever it may be. And we no longer think in just about everything about beauty. How do you do something that's beautiful? And, and I guess, beauty really can't be debated. I guess it can be debated, but, the concept of beautiful and beauty has been something that's been philosophized over a lot and pretty much accepted in the fact that there is beauty and it's recognizable. So let me tell you a couple stories. First off, about functionality. I work for this high-tech company that was very successful. It spent, I forget how long, 5-6 years there. And they were very practical and pragmatic, built a lot of buildings, and had soaring profits and made a lot of money and really did very well for a period of time, 10 years maybe, I forget. I'm not sure, 10, 12 years. And, things started to slow down, and there was a big downturn in the tech industry, and they call it the tech bubble. The tech bubble happened, and they had to pare things down. People were getting laid off and all of this. And I remember this one story. I was talking to a guy who was like a purchasing guy. I forget his exact role. But he said, it's funny, we get a call from a brick company that makes red bricks. The red bricks. You can picture them, right? They're about 10 to 12 inches in size. He said, we got a call from the company that says, hey, your order of bricks for the new building is complete. Where should we deliver it? And we must be talking, 1 million bricks. So the company had paid for it ahead of time because things were going so well. And now they were in a point where they were like, well, we don't really want to build another building because we're downsizing and all this, but we've paid for all the bricks. So they ended up building the building. But I always thought about that and thought to myself, instead of building another functional building, wouldn't it have been beautiful to build something beautiful? And that would have been nice. We don't build anything beautiful anymore. All right, another point I want to make here is I want to talk about a woman, a young woman. When I was a young man, I had a friend, a woman who was astonishingly beautiful. No one could deny it. And she wasn't just outwardly beautiful. She had a presence, a glow inside her that manifested a beauty inside too that manifested, I think, to the outside too. And I think that was part of it. And I don't think many people would disagree with beauty in humans. Sometimes you see a beautiful man or a beautiful woman, you sense something. And so I would always think to myself, gee, is this just a young man finding a young woman beautiful, and it's all part of the human species thing, and just like anything else, I find women beautiful and attractive, and maybe there's a certain amount of truth to that, and maybe not. I don't know. Other people would sense it too, and I'd spend time with her, and she'd have so many awkward conversations with people, or awkward interactions with people, because people were always so disarmed or set awkwardly when around her. Isn't that funny? There's like an irony to that, But I also noticed, and I try to be objective about it, but I also noticed that animals resonated with her too. Animals, I believe, also just found her beautiful. They always responded and resonated with her in a way that just struck me. And I think we can feel that too when we see a beautiful animal. You can see a lioness or a lion on the plains, and it's just the emotion of them and the beauty that's just beautiful. So beauty is not fully subjective. There is some objective beauty. And in the Middle Ages, they built these many beautiful things, paintings, sculptures, music. The Bach comes to mind. cathedrals and churches, castles, and they tried to to make them beautiful out of glory to God. That was the biggest reason. So we've lost that in today's world, and I think it's a shame. I think we should return back to trying to strive towards creating beautiful things. And some of that is done, but on a small scale, I think on a small scale, where an artisans can try to create beautiful things in their craft, right? A woodworker or a potter or a glassblower or a artist, a musician, a composer. But I think often it's lost, and the goal isn't necessarily in their minds. They're saying, I want to create something beautiful. I think too much is lent over to, I want to create something beautiful so I can sell it, so I can make more money. Or, I want to make something that's attractive so I can sell it and make more money. So I think, there's a decline and a decadence in that's been going on, and it comes with materialism and capitalism, right? That's a slippery slope that we're falling down. I think we should try to return to that, and think less about the dollar value or the functionality, and more about the beauty, and glorify God with that.